Hey guys, welcome back. Y'all, I've been gone for a long time and I haven't done a sit down video in forever. So I was trying to think of what could I come back with, what would I do. At first I was going to do a life update, but then I thought about it. I've done some vlogs on me being in the clinical trial, so I thought, why don't I do a video talking about like how I spend the money, how I delegate things, and boom, that's what I came up with. Alright, so people like to make assumptions on my life, and I thought I would kind of delve into things. I even have some real checks from the actual study. Alright, so this video is not going to be about how I got into the clinical trial, what I did, any tips and tricks, any links, nothing like that. You got to do all that on your own. I'm sorry, y'all. For years, I've been given so much advice. I answer emails, DMs, I put links, I do lives, I tell you guys where to go, what I'm doing, like how to do it, and I still get the same questions. So I feel like at this point, I just want to talk about my experience more than trying to help anybody. And then on top of that, I don't even get referrals. Whenever I ask people, like, hey, can you do a referral? Can you refer me in things? Not that I was doing it for the referrals, but I'm like, you can help a sister out. I helped you out. I mean, if you can spend $25 on a lip gloss for a billionaire's business, you can give me a little referral. So, y'all are on your own, but I trust you. You got this. A little background. I went online, I found the study, I applied for it, I went in and I did my orientation and physical. I waited to hear back from them. They called me back, told me to come for check-in. Check-in was January 18th. When you dose, you are in the study. You can be there for a whole week. If you haven't dosed yet, you're not in the study. So once I dosed, I could woosah. I actually left a job to do the study, which is not like me at all, but I really needed the money. I just needed something more consistent. So we were paid in 4 installments. Now I was in the study from January to March, which is frustrating because I love working in the winter. So I guess I was working in the winter, but I wasn't outside. I was inside the entire winter. So that was kind of frustrating. We were paid in 4 different installments. 1 check in February, 1 check in March, 1 check in April, and 1 check in May. So I'm going to show you guys the numbers, the amounts, and the breakdowns, and how I spent it. Alright, so let's just start off with the very first check. While we were still in the study, we got a check for $13,000, and it came right on Valentine's Day. It was great. Obviously, it was with Chase. My account is not with Chase anymore, so I had to wait a little bit, but it was okay. I ended up spending $7,000 immediately for my Discover card. I paid that thing off. I owed like maybe $6,500 on there. I paid that card off, and I immediately closed it. Then I had a credit card for Capital One. This card was $5,000. Closed it. So right there, we're at like $11,000, right? I had a couple other bills, and then obviously I had to pay my mom for taking care of my daughter. Gas, food, toiletries, you know, just whatever. I would obviously order like my daughter's food, typically in her diaper, so I can get coupons and stuff. But other than that, my mom was, you know, taking care of her. Alright, the next check came in March. By this point, we were already out of the study. We got this check about 3 days after we checked out. Crazy enough, I started working 3 or 4 days after I got out of this clinical trial. So this check was for $11,000. Okay. I had a Chase credit card that was maxed out. That was $5,500. I may do a story time and just explain what happened, but I'm just not ready to talk about all this. Like, I had some emergencies. Then I took $2,000. I put that in a high yield savings account because I wasn't sure how much my taxes were going to be for this study. I do have a small business. I do have a daughter, and you know, you get money back for that, but I typically don't count on that, so I took money aside. I owed Citibank $1,500 for a credit card. I did keep that one open because that one has been very good to me, and the points are great, and the cashback. My Chase cashback is pretty good too. And I paid $420 to an old apartment I had in LA. I didn't even remember owing them that much, but I owed them. Then I paid March and April's car note. That was $2,000. So let's see, 65, 7, 8, 10,050. So at this point we're at 10,050, and then the other money I gave to my mom because once again we're in a new month. She needs money to take care of my daughter and gas and all those good things. So at this point I'm working, so I'm not even really dipping. I'm okay. You know, my bills are paid, but I'm using my actual job money to do what I need to do. Next up is April. This is our third check. Our third check was only $1,650. So 1,000 of my dollars went to, once again, I had more credit cards, y'all. Yes. At this point, I'm using gas to go back and forth to work. I had even applied for an apartment. That was like $700. It was actually this apartment, but I wasn't ready to move in. This was back in this was back in January. I forgot. I spent like $700 applying at this apartment complex, and I did not move in because I ended up going into the study, starting a job. I got really busy. That's actually like madness. So I'm working my job. I'm not really getting really good hours, which is crazy because typically we get really, really amazing hours at this job. But for some reason, the plant had over manpowered. So they were sending us home every day for like a week or two. We were only getting like $100 per day. And then I think I worked a couple days. So my checks were maybe like $1,200 a week, $1,500. They weren't good. Usually at a job like this, I make $2,000 to $2,600 a week. And I'm at the low bottom toe. Like the guys at the job make fun of us because they make like $5,000 a week, $7,000, $8,000, and we only make $2,000, and they make fun of us. So we're kind of like looked down at, but I'm happy with my job. I'm good. So yeah, I'm making my little money, and I was driving back and forth. My mom ends up getting sick. My mom had a brain hemorrhage, guys, and she's recovered amazing. She's at like 95%. She's amazing, and she's in her 70s, so that could have gone really bad. She was in the hospital. I had to go get my daughter. I had to leave my job, and then I had to take my daughter to the valley, like near Mexico, so that his sister could like take care of her. I paid his sister $300. I was continuing to help my mom out because she did help my daughter and stuff, but the funds were kind of like getting tight, and I also had to move out. But I knew more money was coming. So that is April. Money gone. All right, May, we are at our last outpatient. So I had 5 outpatients in March. I was working in Corpus, so I would work graveyard 12 hours. Then I would drive 2 hours to San Antonio to do my outpatient visit. So I was dog tired this month. Then I would have to drive back to Corpus, try to get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, work a 12-hour shift. And sometimes I would have outpatients back to back. So I was so happy when things slowed down. I could finally sleep. All right, May comes along. We have our final outpatient visit. We only had 1 outpatient visit in May, and then we were paid our final completion check a couple days later. Our completion check was about $9,000. So with this check, this was the end of my credit card bills. I paid $5,000 to Bank of America. That leaves me with $4,000. I paid $1,000 on my car note for May, which left me with $3,000. I was not ready to pay for June. I paid my insurance for 6 months. That was $850. And then I put $1,500 aside so that I could apply for apartments. In Texas, applying for apartments is just so different. Like in California, when I had an apartment similar to this, my application fee was like $50. There was no admin fee. I didn't even have to pay like a deposit up front. I was like, damn. So in Texas, you have to pay like an admin fee, application fee, a small deposit. So that can be upwards of like $1,200 sometimes at one place, $800. I know for this place, I paid $750 just to apply. So, you know, it just really depends on the place. So at that point, I had about $600 left of my $35,100, and that kind of like coincides with me working with my job and stuff. But I had $600 left. So at that point, you know, we were going out to eat. I was recklessly spending, just being stupid, but at the same time, I'm like, I know I'm gonna have my money coming in. So yeah, that went to whatever, like gas, paying on another card that I had to use. And then obviously I had put money aside for my apartment from my regular job that paid for it. I'm just gonna make a couple points. I know you guys always hear me talking about credit cards, paying them off. But that's because I just never have consistent income, and that is my #1 goal for the year. It's just to have consistent income and to be smarter with my money. I have made some bad decisions, and I continue to, but I keep trying to learn and do better, but it's hard, y'all. It's hard when you come from a background of no discipline. And discipline is like my number one thing I'm working on. Okay, so what I would have done differently, maybe, now that I think about it, I wouldn't have. At first, I thought I should have paid off my car note, just paid off my car completely, and then sold my car like a month later, and then paid for my credit cards. But then I thought to myself, how would I have gotten back and forth to my job? I guess I just would have been jobless. Maybe I would have used my mom's car to get around. But second of all, I wish I would have gotten my apartment earlier, like way earlier in the year. And then I just got busy. And then I moved in months later. But, you know. But all in all, I don't regret really much anything. Because let me just tell you guys, the interest on my credit cards was like $400 to $600 a month. Just on interest. Like, I know my Chase credit card, when it's maxed, the interest is $150 a month. My Discover card, the interest was like $80 a month. The interest is much lower on the Discover because it had like an $8,000 limit. And when it's maxed, the interest is like $85. My Chase is high. Paying interest on top of interest. Like the APR promotions had already ended on some of them, so you know they were starting to build interest. I haven't been paying interest maybe all that long. I just didn't want to pay all that. So I've been slowly creeping back into debt because I had to furnish my apartment. I had a budget of like $5,000 to furnish the entire apartment. So I went to Restoration Hardware, the outlet, and I bought this couch with a big ass ottoman. It's kind of minimalist in here. I do have a lot of plants, but I do have a lot of vases that I bought. But yeah, I bought a dresser, a rug, and 2 baby bar stools that were on clearance, and then a bed frame. I already had that gel mattress. I already had these TVs that covered like everything else basically, but it was just like the main stuff I had to buy, you know, to make this place more of a home. So yeah, I dipped into my credit cards a little bit, but I'm getting ready to get back to work and just take it on. So yeah guys, that was it. So yeah, I'm open to suggestions. I already know you guys are going to give me some good advice. I trust y'all. And tell me what you guys would do. Anyway, I love y'all so much. Thank you for watching this video. And I'll see y'all next time. Woo!